Welcome to another episode of the DomJake podcast. I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm your host, Dominic.
Now, today I have a pretty neat topic and pretty unthemed, knowing what time it is. Do you have any guesses?
As far as I know, could it be anything related to drinking apple cider, picking apples, picking pumpkins, pumpkin pie, and all the fall festivities?
You know, you're not too fall off with that. Okay, maybe that pun wasn't exactly the best one, but
you could. I'm sure it's something. I'm sure you could.
I wrote this intro last minute. What do you suppose would happen if I do that? But yeah, this is pretty much just going to be about fall. Yeah.
As of the making of this, we did have Halloween, so we've already done a couple of fall things. Not long ago, I also went to a local cider mill.
You did? Okay.
Yep, and then we've had bees stalking us. That was fun.
Oh yeah, they're buzzing around all the time, just sucking out your nectar.
Oh yeah, well.
But yeah, I do understand that last episode, the one talking about fitness and health. We did kind of brush over our Halloween events, if you want to call it that, or a lack thereof events, right?
Yeah, well, we managed to squeeze in a little bit of that discussion.
We did manage to squeeze a little bit of that apple juice out, but we didn't. I mean, we're not going to be talking about Halloween really at all, because we kind of did a little bit with the last one. We dove into really what we did, right? So, but that episode was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. At this point, though, it being pretty much 11/11, November 11th, or for the overseas listeners, that's 11/11, not to confuse you.
Well, we do see. It does look like Thanksgiving might be just coming around the corner.
Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. As I'm sure you all might be aware, unless if this is your first episode, in which I guess welcome. I guess we're thankful that you choose to spend an hour with us, or however long this is going to be.
Whether you're cleaning the house or at the gym, thank you all for listening.
Hey, it sounds like you're doing the conclusion a little bit too early, right?
No, but we're thankful. That's what we're saying.
Right, we're thankful for viewers like you.
Carry on.
Right. So, to a lot of you, you already know a little glimpse into the two of us, right? Into my life and Dom's life, respectively. But I don't think we did this last year, like a specific fall-themed one, because last year we kind of, let's just say we didn't have our Thanksgiving meal together as much, because we have, other priorities, other things, right?
We did.
Yeah. And this year we definitely did do a little bit better. We could definitely say that, at least. It's better than last year's. Because last year, from episode 1 to episode 2, wow. I mean, the episode 1 to episode 2 puts the 21 to 22, 23 to 24 to shame, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, we're going into a DJ tangent here. We don't need to do that. But last year we didn't do a fall-themed episode, so I just kind of thought that it would be a great idea to go about the fall a little bit. Just fall into this topic, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
So, and I'll go right after you, but just briefly, just leafly rather, um, what's your what's your connection to, I guess, the fall months, the season? Do you like autumn? Do you like whenever the summer solstice is done and it's time for the autumnal equinox?
The only thing I'm not looking forward to are the colder temperatures, shorter days, and and I don't know. I just like summer much better. But however, there also are positive things about fall that you
We'll
don't.
get into that. We'll definitely get into the pros and cons like we typically do. Um, but yeah, pretty much feel I do feel there are pros and cons, but I definitely am one of the people who like the colder months better. I like the last half of the year the most,
Hmm. I
right?
guess.
I
Eh.
mean, there's it's possibly because like my birthday is literally in the winter. I like the snow, right?
Yep.
But that's possibly a little glimpse into our psyches here, if you might be new. Um, but yeah, we got a little brief introduction of our feelings towards the autumn season. Would you like to
Hmm.
dive a little bit more into specifics here?
Um. I mean, we all know that. It's the fall. I mean, I guess when it comes to the colors of the leaves on the trees when you're on the highway, then okay, it looks nice. I mean,
You're not even in it. You're just in a car looking at it. What the heck?
no, but that's one little glimpse of it. But no, that's not the primary thing. That's just I do like, I guess, going to certain places like I briefly mentioned, cider mills and being outdoors in the fall. That's really it. Spending time with family, going to a cider mill or family or friends, it doesn't matter who, but um, those again, those things you cannot really do in the summer or the winter or the spring. But what they all have in common is you can go outside on all those seasons. But
Totally. Let's kind of dive into a little bit about since we spoke a little bit about Halloween last episode. I know I keep on saying that, but let's kind of dive into the next holiday, or at least the next big one, at least for America, Thanksgiving, right?
oh yeah,
Um,
and
how about let's just do this short little exercise. What are you most looking forward to about Thanksgiving?
um, well, I guess for the meat and potatoes of it, I would say having family come over to our house and just hanging out, eating, having dinner, and just doing family activities.
I really thought you were gonna say, for the meat and potatoes of it, the meat and potatoes of it.
Uh, well,
For shame. You pick
well,
family over the meat and potato.
well. I mean, hey, that adds it to it, though. It really does.
Oh, definitely. My honestly, my thing that I look forward to is honestly the food. Not to sound not to sound kind of like a dick.
Enough.
Not to sound rude, but like it is one of those things where it's like we only break out these things once a year, maybe twice a year, and I just think like a Thanksgiving meal, specifically the turkey. I know not a lot of people are like number one on turkey, but like turkey is one of I would say my top three like like meats or fishes, like proteins, I guess you could call it.
Protein, yep.
It's like my top three. It's definitely in my top three. Like I gotta love it. I gotta love a turkey, man. I go clucking crazy. Right?
Does it make you tired too?
I never really experienced like that.
'Cause I guess some people it actually makes them tired because I can't believe it. Yeah, there's something in it that makes you tired.
I am not going to discredit that, but I just don't think I've ever been like more tired because of having this for a meal instead of this.
I guess if some, I guess sometimes it does affect some people. Sometimes it doesn't.
Honestly, like it probably is like the same sort of thing as like caffeine, right? Where it's like, oh well, caffeine keeps me up, and then some people are like, caffeine and decaf, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't help me at all. Right?
Some it's like yeah,
Everyone's built differently, I guess, right?
yeah. Well,
And and I just don't fall asleep really easily.
fall asleep.
True. I don't autumn asleep too too well with turkey, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
really doesn't really lull me, you know.
hmm
It just
I personally, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll eat turkey, but I'm just not a big fan of it.
how how have you had it? Let's just say.
I mean, I've had it. I guess at a family's. I mean, oh, how do I have the turkey?
Like how is it prepared? Like how is it done?
It's just like in full size turkey. At least
That
from what I
doesn't help me.
remember.
That doesn't help me. I don't need to know the size. I need to know like the style. Like are
Oh,
you are you
it's
baking it? Are you deep
oh
frying it? Are you grilling it?
oh.
Are
Huh.
you steaming it? Are
I think
you
it's in an oven. I think I'm pretty sure.
okay? So
Baking it, I believe. I mean, we at our house we don't make it, but I know family. One of my family members does it.
okay, so you get together with like more than just your household. Okay, okay.
It de- yeah, it varies per year, but yeah.
That's true too. Definitely varies. One of those variable types
hmm
of holidays. But I would honestly suggest, and this is this is
It's
possibly hard to do because let's just say some people just don't want to deal with deep frying things. Like I mean, like big pot
oh,
because
speaking of.
the splashback really can burn you if you do like things wrong. That's why a lot of people don't like doing the deep fried method. But
I oh
go
yeah.
ahead.
Speaking of, I I got this little mini deep fryer that I've wanted to use, but I guess because it creates this big strong smell, then that's why I don't use it.
Oh, you don't use it because other people are like, it smells.
Well, I just had to do it outside. That's all. I mean, I've yet to even use it to this day, but that's besides the topic. But if I want
Yeah,
to just, but
yeah, yeah. You
so,
should definitely move that outside if at all possible. But
hmm
um, I would suggest like we kind of do it like with like a propane powered like it's not a grill. It's like a burner, right?
mm,
It's a propane powered kind of like a stovetop thing, but it's just one,
so
right?
griddle.
It's I mean, I you know what? I'll get a picture of it or put it on the screen right here. Maybe that's the way to do it. And then by time that happens, maybe I'll actually know what the friggin' thing is called. But it's a propane powered thing where
hmm
we just put a pot that's filled with usually like I think canola oil and
hmm
we deep fry it in there because the that pot is big enough for a turkey, right? We're not we're not really necessarily using a one of those standard small basket fryers for a big ass turkey like this. It probably wouldn't even fit. But
Yeah.
uh, big tangent aside, I really do recommend that you try a turkey that's been like deep fried and
It sounds like it's good.
injected with flavoring,
Mm.
right? Like on one side, like we typically do it this way, where it's like we have a teriyaki sauce and like a buffalo sauce, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we inject one half of it, like the right side with buffalo, and then the left side with teriyaki or something. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like each drumstick or something is a different flavor, or it's fun like that. Um, I definitely recommend doing other things with the turkey instead of just the standard. And I'm allowed to say it because I am one, but the standard white person preparation, right?
Mm.
Like just throwing it in an oven and maybe putting salt and pepper on it isn't gonna do much wonder. You really
Mm-hmm.
gotta try some things with it. Like,
Yeah, we got. Yep, it's your kitchen. You can be creative.
but I digress. Um, do you possibly have any maybe family traditions or maybe recipes that you know of?
Uh,
Unless if you're uncomfortable with like the recipe part, because I know sometimes like family recipes cannot be shared, right?
I mean, yes, we do have. I'm not. I'll say what the dish is, but I will not get really into the specifics. I mean, we do.
That's
Eh.
fair.
I mean, I mean every. I mean, then again, you're probably it's going to be anticlimactic, but it's like our own family pasta recipe, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. You don't need to say anything else other than that. You think that's your like favorite thing on the plate or
Thanks.
whatever?
It is, and then I can add my own stuff to it on this. Yep.
Oh, you don't give up your hot sauce just for one holiday day, right?
Well,
Just to have the same meal as
well,
everybody else.
well. I do have. I mean, I do make. I do have my own little made pepper flakes. So I'm not gonna give out that recipe either. Did I top it with stuff too?
Nah, I'm trying to say you should give up the spice for like one day just to
Oh,
be a
oh,
part of your family.
oh no!
Eat the same
I've
stuff.
actually have.
Oh,
I've
you have. Okay.
I've done that before.
So you're not a part of your family like maybe every other 2 years.
Hmm. Yeah.
Something like that. Whatever, whatever. Um, honestly, a recipe that we've I've shared before that you've actually had. Well,
Ah.
technically, you haven't had my dad's version. You had my version. You haven't had my dad's version. But his is a maple glazed carrot, not honey maple glazed. It's very minute, but there is a difference.
Oh yeah. I've been wanting to make those again, but it's just I don't. So I just need to find the right time too.
Yeah, like I said, you've had my version. You haven't had my dad's version. Dad pretty much is the one who does the holiday time, right? I just kind of adopted the recipe and maybe make it every now and then. Like really, it's not so often, but sometimes
Hmm.
I do. Um, that would be a family recipe of ours that pretty much goes like
Hmm.
every single time they're like served, they're pretty much gone. But but honestly, our main seller is probably the and this is a this is definitely one of those holiday editions where if you had it every week, you'd be 700 pounds, right? But
Hmm.
we have like this honey, like sugar maple kind of like spread that you just spread on like a piece of bread, right? A bread roll. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of like the Texas Roadhouse like spread, but
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah.
but kind of different. It's like one of those like really sweet things, right? And let's just say that's crack.
It's like a world of diabetes right there.
The world diabetes, right?
Yep.
Um, so you can't really make. make that as often as we want to because
Mm-hmm.
we kind of justify it because it's like one of those where it uses a lot of butter, right? It's it's probably a no bueno to use, 50 packets of butter every week or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd get expensive quick, so that's probably a good thing that we kind of do it like once a year or something. But honestly, not really once a year, just like every now and then sort of thing. Um, but speaking of sweet things, um, we actually adopted something from my aunt, right? It's like a 7 layer like Oreo dip is is like the best thing that I could explain, right? That's the best way that I could say it. But it's like a layer dip of like, chocolate pudding, like a bunch of Oreos, like maybe like I don't know, sort of cream cheese or something, like a layer dip,
It's like a
but
sounds
but sweet.
sounds like yeah, it's a very sweet dish. Sounds like.
It's very sweet. It's like a truffle. I think is the actual like term.
Mm-hmm.
Oreo truffle, right?
Hmm.
That's actually the name of it. That's cool that I actually thought of the name.
Whoa.
But no, yeah. Do you possibly have any family traditions, or do you think that's
S-
not really existent?
The same thing we do usually every year is well, I'm sure we all know that one thing we watch when we get up in the morning, Thanksgiving parade. That's not really exactly. I mean, I guess tradition in a sense, but again, like I said, I guess for the past couple of years we would just invite family over to our house, and we just we gobble up on the food and um, just hang out, talk, play games. Well, not necessarily play games, but we just all hang out.
Yeah,
Uh,
like you don't have like a thing where it's like, oh, the winner of this Mario Kart session gets like a $50 Sears card or something.
oh yeah,
Oh, you
perfect.
do?
No, no,
Oh,
I was kind of joking with you. It's like no, we don't do one of nothing like that. But I mean, actually, the one thing we do is the bingo. What you
right, okay.
yeah. So actually, we do get prizes for that, and we have that little bingo thing where you spin the little wheel, and then the little ball comes out, which has what it is like the letter and the number, and then you just whoever wins bingo gets the prize that's on this little table.
Typically, what are the prizes?
At best, they're either Walmart or dollar store prizes.
At best.
I
At best, they were like,
mean,
fished out of the dumpster, right?
I mean, no, but we do have. There are some candies that we do put, and then
But no, honestly, that does sound like a.
it's not
I,
the
I
no,
wouldn't I wouldn't say a blast, but it sounds like an old person blast, you know?
it's still cool.
Yeah,
It's not
it does sound cool, right?
like the prizes aren't necessarily bad just because we get them from there. Yeah, but no, it's kind of a thing we've been doing like the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Um, in terms of like family traditions that we personally have, let's just say we're kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum because, and I've kind of gone into this a little bit before here, but I'll kind of keep it short. Um, let's just say like maybe a decade and a half or something ago to a decade ago, so like a span of like 5 years or something like that. Maybe I just don't remember the real duration, but um, for
Mm-hmm.
a while, like our house was like the Christmas Eve house. One of my aunt and late uncles' houses was the Thanksgiving house, and then one of my other uncles was like the Easter house, right? Um, that kind of slowly started to diminish whenever, let's just say, my grandmother left the picture. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's a healthy way of saying it, right?
Yes, yes.
Right? Without reopening any wounds. That's a way to say.
They're closed for, I guess, for a reason. Here.
It's I mean it's literally been like a decade or whatever since.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say she didn't pass a test, she passed something. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
she, she
as
passed.
so that's the so there was a tradition you had, and but then it diminished since that happened
Diminished, like
slowly.
free traditions pretty much diminished slowly because of the fact that there wasn't like that glue that was holding the whole project together, right? The whole
Mm-hmm.
thing kind of slowly crumbled apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something where it's like we're enemies or whatever. It's just like there isn't really that reason anymore, unfortunately. And unfortunately, a dementia lady was the only reason I was pretty much able to see a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that's the case, but it's, I guess, the thing of things, right? But we did have that big family get together at my, you know, then aunt and
Mm-hmm.
uncle's had, because honestly, that uncle also passed away since then. So, and that helps, right? That helps right
Yeah, yeah,
away.
yeah.
Oh, it did not. Oh. But
So.
it was still certainly like a cool like
Mm-hmm.
let's just say duration, right? Whenever like every Thanksgiving, of course, is one of those things where our household maybe not so much, but definitely my aunt and uncle were more on the more on the religious side,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one of the people who like believe whatever you want, do whatever makes you happy. Um, it's just I
Um.
don't necessarily know everything about the
So,
things. It's like
yes.
it's like I started eating a bun once whenever I was over there,
Mm-hmm.
and like my cousin was like, "We didn't say grace yet." And I'm like, "What's grace?"
Who's Grace? The cashier at Walmart.
Grace Tomlinson. There we go. Now I can eat.
Perfect.
Right? No, but
Yeah, but
long story short,
we're
like
not. We
we
don't. Yeah.
we had that, but slowly
Yep.
kind
Our
of
family doesn't do that.
slowed down.
Not necessarily because we don't. Not necessarily because we don't believe in the religion. It's just we just are not that family that does the grace.
Yeah, it's honestly like a it's a case by grace,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Case by case scenario sort of thing.
But yeah.
Um, but moving on a little bit, um, being speaking of grace, actually, you can be grateful for something, and that's we could talk a little bit about the significance of gratitude,
Like what are we grateful for?
like just what why should you be grateful for things?
Hmm. Well,
That's sort of like the question.
I do have an answer kind of already, but
Like you could talk to the 5-year-olds who are like,
hey,
why do we even have Thanksgiving in the first place? What's the point, right?
to make
Answer that 5-year-old.
answer that. So well, brings family together because one day some of these family members may not. Well, let's just say they may not be around anymore.
They may not be in the picture, right? They could
Yeah.
they could pass other tests, or
Yes.
just literally just walk away one day.
Yeah. You know.
They don't necessarily have to take a test.
No, they don't have to.
They just take a leave, right?
Yeah. But wow. But yes, there is an answer why you should be grateful.
And my answer is kind of the same thing. around that. But it's one of those cliche, you don't know what you had until it's gone sort of
Oh
things.
yes, yes.
It's like I really, really, like, now that I'm not in public education, I kind of miss that environment. Not
Well,
every single thing about
of
it,
course.
obviously, but like there's that weird thing where it's like you knew 5 days a week you were going to see 200 people. You like the same 200 people like every single day. And then suddenly, no,
Yeah, and now it's
suddenly it's like you're lucky if you see three.
you're lucky if you see just a few of them nowadays. Holy crap, that's all gone after this much amount of time.
Yeah, kind of think of it. This year, let's see. Um, I'm obviously not going to name anybody unless if they're, you know what? I'll name one person, although technically it wasn't in the same grade as me, but one person because he's a channel friend, right? But I did see Skip, right?
Mm,
Physically in person this year. Um,
yes.
I saw you this year in person. Um,
Yes, I saw. She was at my place like a couple of weeks ago, and I guess her and to go.
oh, okay. That's
That's just
neat.
well,
That's good.
well, high school sweethearts. It's one of those things.
That's a good pairing. I actually didn't think of that. I
Mm,
hope they do well.
I hope
Let's
so
just say
too. I hope so too.
fails. Guess who's first in line?
Uh,
Not even going to give me the time of day, Jesus.
no, neither of
No,
us.
that's the motivation that I need. It wasn't Vince's motivational talk. It's, oh, I need to be second in line.
The other 7 billion people in the world.
Oh God, right? Yeah.
Oh, so the
Anywho,
significance of gratitude. Am I right?
yeah, I'm gratitudeful that no,
Now,
um,
okay, cut. Now it's back to the episode.
we interrupt these programs to break. No, we spent a pretty good time with our Thanksgiving discussions, though. Um, maybe you want to go a little bit broader and maybe talk about like maybe rapid fire sort of thing, where it's like you talk about five, if you have them, five favorite fall activities, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Probably not 5, but let's
Oh, that's
see.
fine. As close to five maybe as you can.
I could say, I guess taking a walk outside and watching the fall leaves. I guess going to a local cider mill, which not necessarily every year we do, but it's still one of my favorite activities. Um, let's see what else. I don't know. I think there's really two things because again, I don't really think much of what to do in the fall other
I don't know.
than spend time with family.
Well, that's not necessarily a fall activity unless if you're only doing it in fall. Like
No, but
you don't hang with
I
your
mean,
family
but I
until fall.
mean, well, we course every day, but I guess no. I mean, pumpkin carving we haven't done in years, but that was a fun. Um, very rarely which I haven't for the first time in a long time. 2 years ago, went apple picking,
Mm,
and it's like, oh, what have I been missing out on? It's like, oh, well, I guess this is why it's more fun because I don't do this.
Oh, yeah, that could be something too. I mean, there's definitely a lot of overlap with like some of your activities and like my favorite ones. I definitely like apple picking. I like pumpkin carving. I do like the we didn't really do it this year or last year or the year before or the
Hmm.
year before or the year before, but whenever you rake like a pile of leaves, removing like all the sticks and stones and other junk like that, but you
Hmm.
rake a pile of leaves and just jump in it, like like leaf jumping. That's for fun.
Mm. Well,
And there's also the baking and cooking aspect of things where it's like, oh well, now we're cooking with a lot of pumpkin, right?
hmm,
When maybe 9 year 9 years, no, 9 months out of the year we're not.
yeah.
And yeah, that's like really one of those things. And then I mean technically a fall activity is like, trick or treating, but I mean
I guess.
we're technically not too old for it, but we
No.
just haven't done it since
No.
like I don't know, since at
Since
least 18 years old, maybe.
18.
Yeah, 18, because like you want to squeeze out the last year.
You want to squeeze. You still want to squeeze out your inner child before you start paying bills. So why not?
Hey, I didn't start paying bills until I was like late 20 because I didn't have anything until late 20. Yeah, that's a good little speed round. Let's do something that I didn't think of. How about this? You see, and imagine this with me. You see a table. It is a white table. That way you can see things better.
Hmm.
Um, with a pile of, let's just say, five, mm, 10 leaves, right?
Yeah.
You see one of them is green, you see one of them is brown, you see one of them is yellow, red, orange, and then you
So
see leaves that are like a mixture of those colors.
you
Which
literally
what is
say,
the one that you would choose out of that like the best leaf out of like the pile, the selection
maybe
in terms of color?
the ones that are the tie dye, like the one that's a whole mixture. It's like a whole tie dye leaf.
Do you think that's like your favorite like leaf color?
If well, no, again, not color. It would be like, I guess, colors. But if I had to pick a singular color leaf, okay, maybe yellow.
Oh, that's interesting. I was expecting red.
Well, that's probably why I said yellow.
Threw me off my game. There goes the rest of this episode. I thought you would take
Okay,
it. No, no,
okay.
just kidding, just kidding.
I know I was joking.
But I definitely do like those like the tie dye ones, right? Like this hypothetical situation, like I would pick the one that has like every color in it,
Yeah,
because the whole idea is like, oh, you're picking the best looking one. Maybe you press it so it lasts forever and like a bookmark or something.
yeah.
Like that would be the leaf that I put in my bookmark.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the charming aspect of it is the leaves, and as
Leaf,
well.
definitely.
And
Another little thing that we can maybe like glimpse over, because I'm not really. I mean, I do have one thing, but are you at all into like the seasonal like drinks or
hmm,
foods
I
that like
like.
you might go to like, I don't know, say Dunkin' and be like, oh, this thing that's only here 3 months of the year, let's order it.
Well, okay, I'm not that basic, but I. Okay, fine. I'll try a pumpkin. I've never really had their pumpkin spice lattes, but I do like apple cider, which why I kept bringing up the cider mill.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like every time, like, oh, here's a friendship ending question. Okay, maybe not really, but do you prefer hot apple cider or cold apple cider?
Cold apple cider.
I kind of, I mean, I like so I like it no matter what. But I kind of prefer whenever it's warmer and hotter.
I don't know.
Weird.
It just tastes more fresh when it's cold.
I really think the opposite. I think it tastes more fresh when it's hot.
Hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, we all like different things, but
Definitely.
oh yes. So what I
Apple cider donuts.
those are tasty.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
I agree.
one thing that I do, yes, like the whole pumpkin spice craze, I do find that overrated. Yeah, I still respect the people who like it.
Oh, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, if someone offers me something that's pumpkin spice, I'll
I'll
take it.
I'll
Why
still
not?
no, don't get me wrong, it still tastes good, all the pumpkin spice flavors.
Right. We're not saying, neither of us are saying that it's bad.
No, no,
It's
it's
just one of those things where it's like, really, you're waiting in a line for 5 hours just for a shot at something?
no, but it's like if somebody offered me a pumpkin spice latte from Dunkin', I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not really
I'm
that
not
big of a
I'm not
coffee
desperate.
person in general, but I would do it, right? Like,
Um mhm.
now, I want to introduce this next segment here.
Hmm. What's will this be about?
We were just recently talking about food, like literally like a sentence ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of inspired me to maybe introduce this next segment that we occasionally bring up. Yes, it isn't again time for taste trades.
Taste traits.
We don't have a theme song.
But yes, it's another segment where we cook each other's recipes and then we come back, we talk about them, whether we want to do it again or not, or does it taste good, or does even the family like it?
All of these factors and more. We have definitely done 3 of these before. Essentially, the main idea is exactly as Dom said. Both of us will think of a recipe, sometimes consisting of a theme. Of course, they don't always have to consist of a theme, but in this
No.
case, it definitely does. A little bit ago, I think it might either have been, cut out of a podcast episode, or maybe it wasn't cut out. But a little bit ago, I had the idea of thinking of dishes that seem hard, but in the grand scheme of things were actually very easy. Things that, it looks like you have to go to culinary school for 15 years in order to even come close, only to
Mm-hmm.
find out that an average kindergartner can do it too. Things like that.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. And but you know what? There's also a catch to it as well.
There's a catch.
Yes,
What type of catch?
you had to have cooked this before in order to
Or
do
witnessed
this.
somebody, like in your family, like watched someone do it in real person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, your mom could be doing it, but as
But
long as you're watching it,
as
it
long as
counts.
as long as if we one of us has witnessed or done it ourselves, then yes, you can't just pull up a recipe on Pinterest and call it a day. You have to have
Right. And
yeah.
then also, we're not counting things like, oh, I watched Rachel Ray yesterday. Here's
Or
what she did.
or you can't just say, "Oh, I looked at I read my cookbook and here's a good recipe for chicken pot pie."
You could, however, do that if you've made it or had that one
Yes, but
or
if
watched it.
you've
Regardless, it is our segment. So, since we typically divide these episodes whenever they include a taste trades up into two parts, we are going to be going over and announcing, looking at the recipe that the other person wrote. So essentially, the way this works is we prepare our documents ahead of time, and we kind of have like a little countdown of sorts to scroll down and see what the other person wrote down for us. Of course, this one is with the caveat being looks hard, but isn't actually to do. Dom, you want to do the countdown?
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Go.
Just so you know, you're probably
What
gonna get
the
I that's why I was gonna say I wanted to say something, but I wanted you to be surprised.
We both did the same thing again. Why did we do that?
I had no idea.
Now we have 4 different cookies.
Well, I guess, but we do have.
How is it that, like,
I guess there's just
the first one that we do, they're both different enough. You know, you had your tacos and I had my noodle dish. The next one, we both did freaking cookies, and none of us told each other what we were gonna do. That's why I said the next time, no desserts.
well, how
time?
and
It's all desserts again.
I don't know. I guess there's a connection here. What is it about that? Why we keep doing this?
Let me tell you something. We are not going to do. I'm going to make this a rule on our 6th one. Whenever that happens, none of us are to do any cookies, man.
Oh, that's funny though.
What the heck?
Yeah, but
Regardless, the two of us have read over at least a little bit of the recipes that we have provided the other. Dominic giving me chocolate chip cookies, and myself giving him a 3-ingredient peanut butter cookie.
Oh, here's a question. Does it matter if I use creamy or chunky peanut butter? Does it matter which kind I use?
It doesn't. Honestly, I've even used like a half a cup Nutella with a half a cup peanut butter, right? It's just recommended. Just use like peanut butter. Doesn't really matter which type. It just depends on if you want some extra nuts in it, I guess.
Yeah, go nuts for nuts.
That's really the only difference. And like, I mean, sometimes I put chocolate chips in them too. But how about for the base recipe? Just do natural. Just do the 3 ingredients. Better football, Papa John's, right? This is the end of part 1. Part 2 will be
next.
Whenever we come back after the two of us have made and tried these things. It will take you guys like maybe 3 seconds, but for us, it might take a month or hopefully less. See you then.
See you soon.
And we're back. So for the last day, we pretty much either already had these ingredients or we procured a little bit of them from the store. So the theme this time was easier than they look. That is the theme that we did today. And just as a little quick recap, Dom sent me a recipe for chocolate chip cookies.
Definitely. And you sent me your easy 3-ingredient peanut butter cookie.
That's correct. Now, let's not dilly-dally too long. I kind of forgot how these go.
Well,
let's see. I know it was like a scale of 1 to 10 thing. So honestly, let's just start with a scale of 1 to 10, your enjoyment for this. I'm curious. I want to hear your enjoyment.
A strong 8.
A strong 8. Okay. So some things to be desired, but mostly it's there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. To make it a long story short, yep, I just did what I had to do right when I had the time. I realized we had more peanut butter already at the house when I bought more today. I'm like, oh, we already have. I forgot that I don't remember us even getting any. So, yep,
That's fair.
that's fair. But you know what? Yep, I just put the 3 ingredients actually together, mix them up, made
Yeah.
made the 2 batches because there was enough dough to make 2 of them. Well, 2 batches of cookies, and they actually tasted great.
Okay. Okay. You
All
know.
right. So, well, given the how the recipe is, what would your enjoyment be?
Okay. So there is a difference between enjoyment and the next theme. I'm sure you remember the uh, the thing that I wanted to tell you yesterday or whatever, whenever we last recorded this, whenever we revealed it at the first stage. But overall, my enjoyment for them definitely, definitely, I would honestly say a 9.5
Hmm.
for enjoyment.
Is it is it a therapeutic thing too?
Well, the thing about it is that's not really my, I guess, criteria for enjoyment. My criteria for enjoyment is it tastes bomb, right? It tastes mm, right? Like it's one of those trades that I'm glad you tasted. No, it's one of those tastes that I'm glad you traded. There we go. Um, I definitely really did enjoy the product.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is a
So,
different criteria that we also like to judge. On a scale of 1 to 10, how clear were my instructions to you?
yours was more straight to the point than mine was for you because, well, in my sense, okay, I thought this would, huh. I mean, it's not store bought cookies where there's a whole laundry list of ingredients, so this should not be as many ingredients. So I guess I didn't realize. Oh, you gave me what, a piece of flour and water, but I gave you a whole. I gave you literally like a whole Lego set instructions.
Yes, and somehow I'm missing 50 pieces. It's like
You,
it's like I can't connect these two because I'm missing this one key thing. No.
it's like
Um
you literally gave me Mega Blocks, and I gave you a whole spaceship.
true. Um so the essence of the challenge, which albeit yes, it doesn't really matter for the grand scheme of things because the main idea for this whole taste trades is just so then we could trade our recipes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I like to throw in different themes just to kind of spice it up, make it unique. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, if we didn't have these themes, then there's a possibility that we would only do like the same things each time, or things
Yeah.
that are the same, right? Like there could be maybe 2 times that if we didn't say a theme, that who knows, maybe both of us will offer a cookie recipe. There's no way that happened before.
Oh, not at all. Nah, I
But
don't
with these
recall.
themes, it's very helpful whenever it's like, oh, um, just desserts, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, there's a chance that it's going to be cookies again, but you know what? There's an option that, hey, maybe I'll introduce something different. Regardless
Hmm.
of the fact, I have been dilly dallying with that ranking. My
So yeah.
overall ranking for the instructions, I guess, for for the recipe itself, so the recipe itself wasn't bad. It's just the underlying theme was not there.
Well, speaking of, before you continue, I do already have an idea of a next theme cooking in my head, no pun intended, but I'll save that for when later on.
Sure, that's fine. That's fine. We might even do an unprecedented 2 pods in a row with taste traits.
No,
I don't think
no,
that's that entertaining because
no. But
it's recipe after recipe after. It's
but
cool to kind of scatter these. However,
but so
you're
you
trying to you're trying to distract me so I don't
so no,
feel
the
your
theme is not
feelings.
the theme is not in line. That's what you were saying.
The My enjoyment of it was a 9, but with that in mind, I'm gonna have to give you a 3. That was not the theme,
Like
and
I
that's
said,
being generous. It was not the theme, because I mean,
you're very you're welcome.
you gave me a medium dish that I knew was medium. It wasn't something that seemed harder.
I,
Now, okay, I've been ragging on you for the past, well, 10 minutes, but we cut out most of it. How about how clear mine was on a scale of 1 to 10?
it was how clear were your instructions? Probably a maybe a I guess 6 or 7. Probably. I mean, I eventually took me a while to understand, but then I managed to actually do it in literally less than an hour.
Literally less than, I mean, like the first time you do it, it might take a little bit long, but since you got it, I could I could do these cookies in 5 minutes and have like, 30 minutes of I gotta wait for the thing to preheat now.
Oh,
Like I
the
could
hardest,
finish and just walk away.
honestly, the only difficult part was trying to have the peanut butter, I guess, even out. It's because I'm like scooping it into the cup, and I have to then kind of push it to even it instead of make because sugar I can easily flatten it to make it. I can easily make it like, evened out on the cup.
Right, you're talking about that. Okay, to
But
actually measure a
it's not hard to measure it.
I got you. It's one of those pastes where it's like a little bit tough,
Yeah, it's like
a little
honest.
bit tough to work with. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but other than that, it was a bit of a breeze to get through.
And that's the whole point. The picture that like
Yeah,
if you
I
took a picture of like a tray of cookies, people would think, "Oh, there's probably flour in this. Oh, there's probably baking soda. There's probably salt. There's probably maybe a bite of vinegar just to even things out or something."
mhm.
No, there's only 3 things in there, which subverts their expectations of, "Oh, there must be 15 ingredients."
Mm.
Whereas you, just kidding. We already went through that with it
We
part
are, yeah,
one.
but like I said, it's like you gave me a whole Lego Duplo like set, and I gave you a Star Wars spaceship.
I I gave you crushed Oreo cookie, and you gave me go to Nepal, speaking Egyptian, and somehow order a French dish, right?
Hmm.
What? And come back here within a day, right?
Hmm.
Regardless. Um, like with cookies, I'm someone who really likes them hard. Like I like a crunchy one. I mean, yes, let's just say I'm pretty beefy, and I will still eat a soft one. But to enjoy it, I gotta have that crunch because it gives the option of, you know, dipping it in milk and having like one soggy bite and then the next one being hard. And that's what I like. I followed your directions to a T, and literally the only flaw that I had was just it just wasn't on theme, which is a I could even agree with you there. That is like
Mm-hmm.
that is like a shitty thing to give negative points about, because at the end of the day it doesn't matter. That was a great recipe, just not themely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like
Well.
I genuinely mean it's a 9.5 because I did the cooling off. I used the freezer because I wanted it a little bit quicker, but I chilled it. I put them in balls, and they were hard after cooling off for a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. It was great.
Good. Well, now the question is, will we? Is this something you would make again?
Yeah,
Hmm.
albeit I wish I wish you maybe kept this one for a different theme, but
Hey, maybe I'll put it again. Maybe I'll send you it again.
is is this is the 3 ingredient peanut butter cookies something that you would do again?
Yeah, possibly. Because if we have somebody, if we have people coming over, it's like, hey, I'll whip up some cookies.
And
No,
and yeah, like I was
not
worried
gonna.
that you might have like smushed it wrong or followed that instruction a little bit iffily. That's not even a word. But
Mhm.
after seeing your picture though, like that, you smushed it right, which means that my instructions were okay.
Yeah, they were. Plus, as of this recording, yep, I made those cookies on the same day.
Mm,
So literally a few hours ago, and honestly, they literally look like store-bought cookies.
they do, and that's the miraculous thing about them. Like I saw someone making these like like in like a 30-second TikTok or something, right? And they were like, "What? Someone from like 1940s just figured out you could do a 3 ingredient thing, and it works. It
In the
works.
1940s.
It like
Yeah,
freaking works.
that's awesome.
It's it's miraculous. You expect it to be like a gloopy mess whenever you pull it out the oven, which yes, it starts out gloopy, but it hardens.
Hmm.
It worked.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that taste trades is over, let's wrap up this with a nice little talk about raking leaves. Now,
Hmm.
raking leaves is an activity in the northeastern part of the United States. I mean, I'm sure other people do it too, because I'm sure we're not the only ones with falling leaves. Although I can say that New England has the best fall in the world. I could say that. Well, except for
Mm-hmm.
maybe the fall of Roman Empire. The fall of
Yes.
the Roman Empire. No, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's
History
what.
jokes.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that years ago.
Right. We were both there, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're not privy to such things as smartphones. No.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, they were still in their infancy stages, but that's a whole topic for another episode.
at two, right?
We
No.
already did with that one with Skipper.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So.
regardless of the fact, let's slightly talk about the boring, monotonous seasonal chore of raking leaves. And
Well.
honestly, do you have any like funny or memorable stories related to raking leaves? I know it's a boring topic, but maybe a
Ah.
story in there if you have
I
any memories.
I don't really. I mean, if I did, I honestly don't have very valid memories of raking leaves. Maybe Me when I was a kid, I raked them, but it was not really. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but had to.
You didn't
Um,
pile them up and be like, let's make a leaf angel, or you didn't like, I don't know, ball them up and try to make like a leaf ball, like do a leaf ball fight,
mhm.
except it all falls to the ground because they're leaves and not snow or something. You did
Mhm.
nothing
It's
fun.
maybe. God, I honestly I don't even remember doing such thing. Maybe, maybe when we still had that. Maybe when we had that. When I still had that huge backyard, I might have like jumped in the leaves as a kid.
Wow. I certainly have humorous and memorable stories
I
related to
I,
raking leaves.
I do. I mean, however, though this year,
This
I mean,
year it works too. That works.
as I've as I mentioned in the previous episode, I didn't rake leaves, but I had to sweep the leaves with a broom because I thought we were gonna have trick or treaters come to our house.
And that's memorable because it happened a week ago.
Only, but no, but that aside, that tangent aside, I remember jumping in leaves as when I was little, and maybe it's almost like a bed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I've done the same thing. Like, because we have a household of five, and well, we have trees in our yard that, you know, lose their
Yeah.
leaves.
Which yeah. Well,
Which,
definitely.
I mean, we pretty much had to do things like that. We just similarly we have to shovel snow and stuff like that. But we're talking about leaves right now. I've certainly raked them in a big pile and jumped in them. We've definitely, raked them over like a tarp and
Hmm.
like once you ball up the tarp, people would try to like, push it because it's a lot of leaves is actually heavy, right? Like you don't think of it, but
Mm.
all of it together, it's like it takes a lot of effort to just roll it a little bit. So that was kind of fun, like me trying to push it a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, didn't get really far. There was also like some memories attached to not me personally, but whenever whenever a yard is covered in leaves and you own a dog's gonna have to take let's just say,
Mm.
add a brown stick to the yard. And sometimes, whenever you're raking, or whenever someone you know is raking, smushes right in between their shoe, right? So it's like, I stepped in. And it's just funny because, I didn't step in it. You did.
Hmm. My shoe stepped in it, not me.
Well, not even my shoe. Like, it's one of those things like you watch someone licking a pole in the middle of like a freezing day and their tongue gets stuck to it and it's like if it was
Yeah,
me I wouldn't be laughing, but it's not me, so let's laugh, right?
yeah. Watch Christmas Story if you haven't. That scene was funny.
That's pretty much the idea that I was that was the visual that I got.
Yep.
um but it's totally one of those things that maybe it's just because I've been living in this house for at this point well over 6/8 of my life or something. It's like this is my area, and there was a point when like I was in elementary school where we were more connected with our neighborhood. So there was one fall that we actually went on a vacation. We came back, our yard was freaking clean. Like it was pristine. Like everybody chipped in and did our yard.
Ooh.
That was, I mean, I wasn't old enough to appreciate it, but that was nuts.
Yeah. I'm sure. No, but that's pretty cool though.
Do you possibly have any tips and tricks to make raking enjoyable or
Um,
more efficient?
well, I guess the one thing has helped is blast music and just think about something happy and then just rake on. Blast on some happy music, 'cause that can help. We just don't, without really making it feel stressful.
Something that really helps is if you have great equipment. So then it's like, yeah, you could do your whole yard in
If you want,
2 minutes just because you're blasting it away.
if you have, if you have that driving mower, then hey, by all means,
Oh, I'm not saying
use it.
mower, but mowers help too. I said
But
mower.
those, but those help too. If anything, it's just gonna scatter it, but it's not gonna make them. It's not gonna be big chunks of them. If you didn't want to rake them, you could just rake them with your hands. Speaking of fall, I feel like we can't have this be an episode without mentioning this one thing that I think, at least I thought was over, but turns out we're still doing it. And that thing is called daylight savings time, where you turn the clocks back for just a few months, and then you go forward with those time. And I mean, that was a thing for the farmers back in the day, and I mean, probably for the past couple of decades now, it just doesn't seem worth it anymore. I mean, that's just my take on it.
Well, part of the history of it, to kind of continue what you were saying, was like back with those farmers, and I want to say maybe factory workers as well, but I'm not too certain about that one. It was definitely because of farmers though. Um, they needed to get their product out before sundown. But my question is, why was it even necessary to do something in the first place, right? I would think it makes more sense to just be like, okay, instead of our shift being from 7 to 7, oh well, it's just gonna be 6 to 6 now, or whatever, right? But like, why not just mentally shift it? Be like, oh well, sun up, sun down, I'm out in the field. Does it have to say the same thing on the clock? Right? Like, I don't think so. I don't think it
That's
needs to.
first of all, yeah, it shouldn't have happened to begin with. But even when it worked in the past, why do they think it still works now?
Part of it's
Probably
just
because,
probably just like tradition based. It's like, well, this generation's not gonna fix it, so let's just
mm,
leave that for the next one. And then that generation's like, it's not a problem. Let's leave it for the next one. Let's let's double it and give it to the next person.
perfect. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like I don't really mind. I could take it or leave it. It's not really affecting much. But something that I can say for sure now is with the, let's just say, with the advent of like cellular devices, like, computers that can fit in your pocket or
Yeah.
close enough to your pocket size in some cases,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to just look at a clock. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, the tablet's telling me, oh, it's 8 a.m. Okay. Whether it's
Well.
dark or light out doesn't matter. It says
Oh.
8 a.m.
It's 9 a.m. right now. But it looks like it's dark outside.
Oh, maybe I didn't spring ahead. Oh, so maybe it's 9 a.m., not 8 a.m. Okay. I get
Ah, my bad.
you. Oh,
Huh.
I get it. I get it. But yeah, the saying, at least that I've been told, is, spring ahead, fall back. Right. So in the months of fall, it was honestly like, what was it, 4 days ago that daylight savings time was something?
Ah.
You don't need to be
It had to have been.
specific. It was.
I think it was last week.
It was within this month. Let's just say. That's an easy way to put it. It was within November 2023 when we fell back, and that was most of American clocks were just popped backwards. Which begs the question, though, what is the true time? Is now the true time? Is it supposed to be in, for example, is it supposed to be 9:18 p.m.? Or is it supposed to be 8:15?
Actually, it should be. For example, if it's 9 p.m., then it should be 10 p.m.
It straight up should be. That was was that the original time before they introduced daylight savings?
This is probably the original time.
Was this the original time?
Honestly,
none of us know.
None of us know, but my professional opinion, I think it should be the spring ahead time, which should be the original.
I'm almost gonna say that I think this is the proper time.
Think so.
Just something about it, like something about this idea just screams, oh, I see beautiful leaves falling down. Let's have an idea that would really rock this world.
Yeah.
I don't think a summer person thought of this idea. No offense.
No, I'll make the next taste trades complicated. I'm just joking.
Regardless, though, it is a practice that at least America does. I'm really not certain if any other country does. It's definitely not something that all 50 states do either, because I think Georgia's one of those who's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Or maybe it's Arizona. I don't know. I don't know who does it versus who doesn't. All I know is this state that we are currently in, the state of depression, no, the state that we're currently in does it. So we do it.
Yes, we do. Literally our whole lives.
Yeah, it's genuinely like something that, like I said, I could take or leave. I don't really give a crud too much because really it doesn't change anything. It's like, oh, if the sun's up, I'm probably getting up, and oh, I'm probably going to do the same sort of thing. Doesn't matter what time it says. In my opinion, no. It could say 10, it could say 11, it could say 6. I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's literally one of those things where, I don't know. Like, okay, it looks like it's. I'm just going to get up, do my normal routine, and once it's night, I'm going in my bed and snoozing.
But I will say this, though. I like falling back more than I like springing ahead. Because it seems like falling back, you get more sleep.
I mean, I guess, but it's not going to change what the time is.
Oh, it's not going to change what the time is, but it's like if you're falling backwards, right? Say that you have an appointment. Okay, let's pretend that today is the day before daylight savings fall back. And then tomorrow you have an appointment, which is, the day of fallback. You have an appointment for whatever time, doesn't matter. 12, sure.
Let's just 12 10 a.m., whatever.
12 p.m. Make it easy.
And then I get an extra hour of sleep.
And you're basically going to be sleeping for a normal amount, and then then the fall back. It's like, oh well, instead of going to my appointment at 11, like it would have been, I get another extra hour. So technically, you're able to. It's weird, right? Because the clocks pretty much say like, oh, you're only sleeping for 8 hours, let's say.
Well,
But
now you got 9 hours.
your circadian rhythm is like you got 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just gonna make that up as an example, that I prefer because it's like, oh well, I'm not operating on 4 hours. I'm operating on five. But
Mm-hmm.
it says four, so get that right.
Yeah, your biological clock doesn't lie.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a charm to every season. I'll give him credit. I
Name 10
do.
charms. Go.
Sitting down. Doing
What?
nothing.
Sitting down. Yes. Only fall.
All jokes aside, no, but I mean, if I were to do it, if I had more of the opportunity to, I'd like to go apple picking.
Oh, God,
Um,
definitely, yeah.
but the only problem is the local. Well, not really local because the orchard in our area is not exactly like very close to our houses.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to two of them that are within, let's just say within like an hour commute from from on average where we are, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I'm going to name drop something, but I'm going to probably cut it out or at least bleep it. But my favorite one is
Yeah, that was. Yep, that's the one. That's where I was. Yep, that's the one I know of the most. It's just
yeah,
um.
is nice, but I also like I think there's I don't remember if it is there was like another one that I
Oh, so it's literally a different place then.
maybe whatever.
Ah,
I just know I Bergs a lot. Well, a lot, but
if it was closer, I would love. I would go there a lot more.
uh,
Um.
since this is technically a crime, I'm gonna definitely cut this part out. But whenever I go to orchards, I started this whenever I was like 8 or something for no apparent reason. Um, so you know how people like to sample grapes whenever they're at the store and be like,
Mm,
"Oh, well, I'm not getting this batch because this one was too sour for me, but I like
mm-hmm.
this one because it's more hard or whatever." You know, they sample a little bit of the fruit so then they know what they're getting into,
Uh-huh.
even though some fruits you can't really do that effectively with because one from another could be very, very different, even if they're in the same, even if they're from the same bush, even if they're some from the same branch, even. But uh, that's a little tangent. But
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, I sample the apples on the vine without picking them.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes someone might be reaching for an apple, but they notice a human bite has been in it.
Oh.
And I physically bit it, didn't remove it from the vine. I just sample it right there, and
Hmm.
it ruins it for the next person.
Of course, and then it oxidizes and turns brown.
And it goes like it attracts all the bugs and stuff like that. So it's like even if it's on the vine, all the
Hmm.
bugs are in the way.
Of course, and then guess what? That person will not want to pick that apple. Well, the
I
bad apple doesn't
claimed it
far.
for the next year.
Yeah, the bad apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
It doesn't fall at all.
And I don't.
It's on the vine. Like
We're-
straight up, I bite one bite of each type of apple. Like I did this the last time that I went to one, which was like maybe 4 years ago or something like that. But
Mhm.
every single row. unless if there was like a stranger in it, or definitely like a worker in it, then I would just not do it. But every single row, there would be my bite out of one on the vine apple.
Mm. So did you eventually? So my question: did you eventually get in trouble for that by your parents?
Oh, I mean, my parents and my brothers don't like when I do it. It's just one of those habits where you just can't kick it. It's like
Mm.
it's it tastes great when it's fresh from the vine.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you gotta claim your apple. You gotta claim it.
Yeah, I don't know what got me to think of doing that, but by golly, I like doing it.
Mm.
It's a terrible crime. I know. Because
Can't.
I don't like it whenever I'm reaching for a fruit and I find out that like it has a rotten hole in it. That's essentially what I'm doing to other people.
Can't do the time. You can't. Don't do the crime.
It's free. It's National Free Apple Bite Day.
Yeah, well, it's like every trip there is National Free Apple Bite Day.
I mean, some people have the decency to test it out, but then throw the thing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
No. At least you have the decency to leave it on there for then bugs to guard. Hmm. Oh,
Right.
it's an interesting little crime there.
Okay.
Well,
Taking a bite out of crime and a bite out of apple, right? Yeah, no.
mm-hmm.
Um,
All right.
well, we've heard what you and I have to say about this. Now it's this little segment we call Opinions Are Like Casserole. No, just kidding. I was just listening to Hot Dog as a Sandwich by Mythical Kitchen. So
Ah,
that's a segment that they do. Well, I believe we can maybe call this, maybe we could follow this one here.
all
Thanks for
right.
thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed listening. Remember, you can always like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share our links or whatever. Right? Get us in the algorithm.
Well, speaking of algorithms, we still have to do the post-production side of the skit that we've been working on. But the thing is, we cannot promise at this point when we'll get it out, but we'll keep you guys posted in the well. Keep checking on the community post, and we'll keep you updated. But we do not have a set date for it at this rate. But we'll do the best we can.
Ideally, we'd get it out within, this month because it seems like a good time to post it, right? But regardless of the fact, we have a lot of projects that we're doing. Um, that's
Yeah,
maybe an understatement there.
an understatement for sure. But
we, we could probably even have a whole podcast about our projects.
that'll be a good topic of discussion. But we'll see.
Well,
We'll put a pin in
no,
it.
I don't know if it would be a good topic discussion because most of it would have to be bleeped out, being like, "This one's something we're going to do."
Yeah,
It's like we don't want you gremlins to be stealing our ideas. They're our
but
ideas. No.
yeah, but yeah. But regardless of the fact, well, we wanted to get it out this month, but a lot of factors have led to the delays and stuff. But keep checking the community posts like I discussed. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to really say about it.
Because yeah, we definitely will be, saying something in the community post being like, guys, we finally did it. expect it, when to expect it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but totally, yeah. Uh, I don't think there's really anything else worth mentioning, at least right now, because a lot of the other stuff is kind of in a secrety stage.
Yeah.
Um, so
Um,
yeah. Thank you for
yes.
listening to this episode of the DomJake podcast. I've been your host, Jake.
And I'm your host, Dominic.
Look forward to another taste trades, but I don't know when that's going to be.
All right.
Have a great one, everyone.
Adios.